Welcome to We Should Start a Podcast, the only podcast within a podcast. Each week we'll attempt to create the next hit audio show as we pitch our brightest ideas for pods about anything and everything. But more often than not, pretty much nothing. I am your host, Podmaster and Commander Dino, and joining me as always are my good friends, Podmaster Chief Danders, and Davey Hogan is here too. Let's get into it.
We should start a podcast.
Welcome back to We Should Start a Podcast. On the mic is your podcast presenter for the day, Dino. How is it going, boys?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy. You sound like Nick Weiger. Hey, buddy.
How are you? I don't know that anyone asks you that enough, Mr.
I was about to say, no one ever asked me how I am. I have nothing to say for myself.
I was trying to tee up our BetterHelp sponsorship.
Yeah.
I guess we fucked that one. We're all doing great. Yeah.
Still no sponsors knocking at the door.
Can you believe it? We
I
already
know.
have like 7 episodes out or something. 6? I mean, it's crazy. Come on.
There's 38 people who listened to our last episode who, after listening to that garbage fire, could probably do with some therapy. How are you, Dave? Speaking of garbage fires.
Doing well. I found my old college hoodie there like a few days ago, and it still fits, so that's a win for Dave's belly.
Is that your computer science hoodie?
Yeah, so Jesus, it's old, man. 2015, I think I got it, so fuck.
Does it have a bad computer science based pun on the back, like cash spelt C-A-C-H-E rules everything around me?
No, I remember when we were doing the hoodies, there was like a poll on the Facebook group. That's how long ago it was. But yeah, the class just couldn't come to agreement on what one to go with, so
you didn't do any?
they did none, which is kind of
That's
a shit one.
mad.
I know,
That's
yeah, I'm
mad.
disappointed about that.
I don't know. Maybe I would have preferred that. I obviously for the listeners, I did psychology in college, and I wasn't there when they were voting on the day. Not that it would have made a difference, I'm sure, but I ended up with bad psychology pun. I'm a Freud, and obviously because Freud is a famous psychologist, I hated it, and I never wore the fucking hoodie. Like I was like, this is so stupid. I would have preferred a sterile background probably.
That's not great. I was in genetics, and ours was something about geneticists where we're always trying to get into
Huge
your genes
hard-ons.
or some.
Oh.
I thought that was your slogan, Dodgers.
I got a big old
Who knew I was a
big
geneticist?
hard-on.
I'm something of a geneticist myself.
Also, like, my hoodie was super uncomfortable, and everyone else's from the same college, including you guys, I tried on their hoodies and it was just really amazing. I don't know, like, we obviously went to a different provider or picked a different model, I don't know, but pain in the arse. And it was bright red, like not even like a cool, Scorsese red. It was it was just like a brash, loud, like no class red.
Yeah. Which is a color that probably doesn't look great on a lot of red-toned Irish white people.
Exactly,
right?
yeah. And not easy to match with many things either, to be fair, so bit of a pain. I don't know what happened to it. Probably gave it to Simon Community and some poor homeless man is now wearing it, who knows.
And they're laughing away at that pun.
No. They wouldn't wear it, they threw it away.
Fucking hate this.
Well, boys, I know we've been talking for a little bit about maybe starting the podcast with an icebreaker game before the podcast, but I was thinking maybe today we could play a bit of an icebreaker game on the podcast. Would that be
Nice.
agreeable?
Yeah, what have you
Let's
got
do
planned
it.
for us?
It's a classic. We've all played 2 Ruths and a Sly before, hundreds of times. So You know the game. I give you 3 options. 2 of them are going to be Ruths. 1 of them is going to be Sylvester Sly Stallone. You have to figure out which are the 2 Ruths and which one is the Sly. Does that sound easy enough?
What's the origin of the pun or wordplay? I don't get it. Is there a
2
pun?
truths and a lie.
two roots and a Sly?
The classic 2 Ruths and a Sly.
All right, yeah. The classic. Let's go.
Okay, so if you have the soundboard unpinned, you can pin it back for this because you're going to need it for a second here. Okay, so we are playing two Ruths and a Sly. So explain to the listeners what you see in front of you, Danders. What do we have here? We have 3 options.
I see the bottom half of 3 faces, and then they're numbered 1, 2, and 3. The first one is in black and white. Obviously looks like an old photograph. The second one is in color, and it looks to be a white woman with short blonde curly hair.
Or is it Sylvester Stallone?
It could be. The third one looks like Sylvester Stallone's chin to me. And the first one, I don't know where the Roots thing is going to come in. I'm curious to see. Obviously, we've played it hundreds of times, but I always forget.
Yeah.
Certainly, that'll be my guess. Anyway, I don't know. Is there more rules?
Yeah. No. It's the simple rules two Roots and a Sly.
Yeah. Are we trying to guess who they are?
You're just trying to guess which which are the 2 Roots and which is the Sly.
I think the number 3 picture is a famous Sly Stallone picture that I've seen many, many times.
Okay.
Of Rocky, I think.
Hold on, I think I need to exit out of this mode. And let's see if you are correct.
Oh, have you done something funny now? Oh, it's the man himself.
Well played. You guys are good at this. This is an awful game for an audio medium, but great way to start the podcast.
Can I take a shot at 1? Is it Babe Ruth?
Oh, wow. No way. That's really impressive.
That was good, Dave. Do we know 2?
It's a woman, and her name's Ruth. I'm guessing. Ruth something.
Sure, of course. Yeah,
Ruth Barrymore?
It is.
Important.
No.
I can't remember what the actress's name is, but Ruth from Ozark. Has anyone seen Ozark?
No. And actually, I recognize her less now that I can see the rest of her face.
Who the fuck is Ruth Barrymore?
Okay.
No, I'm thinking of Drew Barrymore.
Drew Barrymore.
We're not playing 2 Drews. Okay, very good. That was a good round. We're just going to play a couple more rounds of this just to break the ice, get the creative juices flowing. The second round of 2 Ruths and a Sly is a sound round. So I'm going to play some sound bites and you have to tell me which 2 are Ruths and which one is a Sly. So here we go. Number 1.
If you just look at the numbers, when I became a Supreme Court Justice, there were 6 women in the Senate. Now there are 20. I was the second woman on the Supreme Court, and when Justice O'Connor left, I was all alone.
Okay, so don't guess yet. Don't guess yet. We're going to hear number 2.
You ain't gonna believe this. Well, you used to fit right here. I'd hold you up and say to your mother, this kid's gonna be the best kid in the world. This kid's gonna be somebody better than anybody ever knew.
Okay.
I love that clip.
Oh, hold your guesses. Daniel sounds like he might know which one is which so far.
Who knows?
And number 3.
Sounds like Bigfoot off in the background. Just checking out some of the old growth stumps on our property. I'm headed out to Ruth Lake today. It's way out off of Highway 36. It's devastated by fires a couple of years ago, but we're going to go...
Okay, so you've heard all 3 sound clips now. Do you have any idea which 2 were Ruths and which was a Sly?
Yeah, well, I don't know who the first one was. The only name in my head is Ginsburg, Ruth Ginsburg, Bader Ginsburg.
That is correct. That was Ruth Bader Ginsburg, former U.S. Supreme Court Justice.
And then the second one is Sylvester Stallone.
Do you want to lock that in?
Yeah, it's one of the Rocky
Okay.
movies. He's chatting to his son and gives him a very motivational speech. I used to watch it before the gym sometimes.
Correct.
I don't know who the third one is.
The third one was an audio clip about Ruth Lake in Humboldt County, California.
Oh, so you don't know who it was?
I have no idea who that was. But you guys are good at this. You've played this before, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. Hundreds of
And
times.
we're going to do a quick third round, and it's just 3 quotes. Two Roots, 1 Sly. First quote is, like I said, I've got too much respect for women to marry them, but that doesn't mean you can't support them emotionally and financially. The second quote is, "At the end of the day, Rocky's a love story. He couldn't have reached the final without Adrian." And then number 3 is, "I've had a lot of operations. I'm kind of like Franken-actor." Do we know?
Is it all Sylvester Stallone?
You guys are really good at this.
Sneaky.
It's really sneaky. There was not 2 Ruths in that one. I love the last quote. I can like hear him saying that in my head. I've had a lot of operations. I'm kind of like a Franken-actor. And also, like, what does he mean by that first quote? I've got too much respect for a woman to marry them, but that doesn't mean you can't support them emotionally and financially. I don't know if I understand that.
I guess he's just supporting financially and emotionally a lot of women, like, but he won't marry them. I don't know what it says on the tin. I would imagine you get what you pay for with Sly. You know.
Have you seen his family?
I think he has a very attractive daughter. That's what
he does.
All I remember.
I thought he had 2 very attractive daughters, but
maybe one ate the other one.
It's the only explanation.
I could never marry them, though. I could definitely support them emotionally and financially.
Yeah.
Well, that was our icebreaker game. I think things are worse off now than before we played 2 Ruths and a Sly.
I was going to say, maybe this should just be the podcast, you know?
But unfortunately, it isn't the podcast. We Should Start a Podcast is a podcast about creating a hit podcast. How many times can I say podcast in under 10 seconds? We're trying to go number 1 on the charts, but we do not have the perfect pod idea. So this show is a placeholder where we are pitching podcast ideas with the hopes of striking gold. We've had some bangers in the past, but we still haven't found the right show. So we will continue to pitch and pod. Is that fair to say, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy. And with that, we are now ready to hear from our podmaster of the week, Danders. And to remind everyone how this works, Danders will be pitching his latest podcast idea and taking us through a complete trial episode. Following the podcast within a podcast, colloquially known as a podception, we will collectively critique Danders' show based on a classic podcast rating system. But before Danders pitches, I am legally obligated to remind all the pod goblins out there that I have too much respect for a woman to marry them. And also that WSSAP never do any research as to whether these podcast ideas exist in the real world. So by accessing the content of this podcast, including the information presented, opinion expressed, and creative elements, you are hereby forfeiting rights to any intellectual property you may already hold in relation to your podcast. But of course, 2 Ruths and a Sly is public domain, so no need to worry about that at your next corporate team building event.
I don't think anyone's worried about it.
With that in mind, I will now let Danders introduce you to his latest podcast idea. Danders, what do you have in store for us this week, my guy?
This week, Dino, our podcast will be called The Dream Team. Do you guys want to hazard a quick guess as to what it is about before we jump in?
Are we putting together a starting 11 for a specific category of sorts?
Ooh.
11 being the soccer format for our US
11
listeners.
being soccer format. Dino, what's your guess?
So I take it Dave is not correct.
He didn't really answer me. He just
Yeah, he's completely ignored
You guys forget the format. We don't answer like that's the whole. You find out when we do the podcast.
Danders, I think that potentially you might have reunited the 1992 Olympic men's basketball team from the US, and the 3 of us are going to be unlikely coaches to try to bring this team back together and make a run at the Olympic gold for 2028.
Yeah.
A bunch of old guys.
Men in their late 60s.
Yeah. And 3 guys who know very little about basketball coaching.
Both very reasonable suggestions. It's a little bit of a mishmash between the 2 of them, if I may give you a little cheeky clue. And we are coaching Michael Jordan back to the Wizards. The Bulls will not take him.
We're coaching him back to a baseball team.
Yeah. All right, let's just run in. Let's just jump in and we'll you'll find out.
Well, thank you, Danders. So, everyone out there, all the pod goblins, this week we are diving into the world of The Dream Team.
Hello and welcome back to The Dream Team, the all-star fantasy draft selection for the most surreal and challenging specialist jobs that can be dreamt of. Last episode, we drafted the ultimate team to bake a world record-setting fastest cake of all time that we nicknamed the Black Lightning Forest Gatto. Today's trial by fire was submitted by one of our followers via our Instagram page and won the public poll for today's discussion by a staggering 74%. Today we are drafting the ultimate team to neutralize the octopus apocalypse. This trial has been based on the popular conspiracy theory that octopuses, correct wording, are an extraterrestrial species that settled on Earth over 200 million years before humanity's evolution, owing to their sudden appearance in fossil records, as well as their unique and unusual biology and brain activity. In the event that octopus kind rise up to claim dominance of our beloved planet after millennia laying in wait, who will be our avengers? Who do we send to offset the threat? As per the usual rules of engagement, we're drafting starting 5, dead or alive, friend or famed, factual or fictitious. Which means we're picking 5, Dave. They can be dead or alive. They don't have to be real people. They can be fictitious characters, but they must be a well-recognized IP. We aren't inventing our own Frankenstein characters.
Frankenactor.
Well placed. We're not creating our own characters. They must be a recognized IP, but they do not have to be human. You could pick Bruce from Jaws if you think that he's a handyman to neutralize an octopus apocalypse. I'll also call out that our panelists can draft to neutralize this threat in any way that they see fit to define that word. I will also make an executive decision on behalf of our follower who submitted this trial and state that for the purposes of this uprising, octopuses do have the ability to survive above water. Whether they always could and were simply waiting for the right moment to strike, or they were waiting to evolve this capacity is anyone's guess. As ever, because we draft off the cuff on this show, we will rotate pick by pick to give our panelists a moment to ponder. I'll go first to throw down the gauntlet and get my co-panelists' creative juices flowing, and then we'll rotate around the screen to get my co-panelists' draft picks, and I'll keep track of each squad. At the end of the episode, I'll pick the top draft team for the job. Dino, how are you feeling about today's draft?
I'm feeling good. I have a couple of questions, Danders.
Hit me.
First of all, have you listened to the podcast All Fantasy Everything before? Because we could be in some hot water here.
We never do any research as to whether this exists.
That's true. Next week, we're going to hear 2 Ruths and a Sly and All Fantasy Everything.
No, I recognize that there are some subtle USPs that'll tie in at the end, but I agree that it's not necessarily the most off the beaten track idea, you know, but
no, I like it. And the second question is, are we each drafting a lineup of 5, or are we working together?
Yeah.
Okay, and then we choose... yeah.
Precisely, yeah. So the way it's going to work is we're going to go around and each pick one by one our full 5. So, you know, we'll rotate. I'll pick 1, Dino will pick 1, Dave will pick 1, and then I'll pick my second until everyone has a full 5. And then at the end, I'll make the executive decision who's best suited for the mission.
And you're picking, you're like picking and choosing from different teams, or you're picking one team overall, which is best suited for the mission?
Probably, well, I'm picking between teams is the answer.
Okay.
But if we have time, then we might try and make a superstar squad amongst ourselves and agree on a starting 5. I'm not sure that we'll have time for that, but that's always open to us.
Okay, well, I'm just going to go ahead. My team is Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Clyde Drexler.
This is to fight them off in the octopocalypse, right?
I mean, fight off if you want. It could be neutralize, could mean getting humans off and leaving the Earth to them, considering they were here first. It could mean sending them to a different planet where, you know, however you want to define the term neutralize is up to yourselves. Probably fighting is the most obvious way.
Okay.
Right, so I'm going to keep track of scores, and I'm going to give you guys my first pick now. Okay, so let's get started. My first pick is going to be Will Smith. He has experience fighting tentacled cephalopoidal extraterrestrial types already from Independence Day. And if one of those slippery suckers gets too smart with him, he's just going to slap the shit out of them live on stage in front of the Academy. And then they'll be too embarrassed to have a career taking over the world anymore. So that was one that I had to... I wrote that one down. That's the only one I prepared, and the rest are going to be off the cuff, all right? So let's talk about Will Smith first, guys. I'm just going to write him down on my list here. What do you guys think about Will Smith as a potential, point guard, as it were, on the mission to save Earth from the octopus apocalypse?
I mean, he can do it all, right?
He can do it all.
I can't even count all the different types of creatures he's fought throughout the years.
Yeah, Men in Black.
That's it. Men in Black.
Robots, iRobot.
He taught men how to manipulate women in Hitch.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you think what do you think are his necessarily traits apart from, I don't know, charisma and good looks or whatever you think about Will Smith? What do you think would be his best traits for orchestrating something like defense mission for the octopus apocalypse?
I personally think that he could create an army of Gemini men, so we could have like fucking 10,000 Will Smiths, right?
Could they make like a Super Smith there? Where like what's the
like Gundam style?
I don't know about that, but I'm talking about Power Rangers when they make like one massive. They put themselves together and they make like I can't remember what that's called right now. But you know, like so it would be one Will Smith the size of Godzilla,
and just one huge slap.
Yeah, a resounding slap that echoes throughout the galaxy.
Yeah.
Yep. Dave, what do you think are Will Smith's strengths in terms of taking on this mission to protect humanity from the octopus apocalypse?
Like he's obviously got a long catalogue of dealing with alien scum, which tend to have multiple arms of you know, so
it's kind of his speciality, you could say. Do you know what I mean?
That's it. Yeah. That's it.
Apart from being a little bitch. Now we love you, Will. We just joking.
Yeah, he's really annoying. He's a very annoying man. That could help as well. They'd be like, nah, fuck
you could
this,
annoy them. Yeah, and
yeah.
just make them leave that way.
Yeah, he keeps trying to make music as well, and that's really fucking bad. So maybe that could really push them off.
Isn't that so funny that he when he started, he was a musician. There was no like, you know, he was reaching by trying to be an actor in a sense, you know what I mean? But he just certainly proved assault there until the obviously terribly awkward slap incident we can call it. And really everyone apart from watching the showdown was just watching Jada Pinkett Smith and her like, I don't know, man, I saw a meme about toxic femininity that we aren't speaking about, and it was like her and Amber Heard at the time. Because man, like, I don't know, do we even want to get into the Jada Pinkett? Anyway, maybe that's a different podcast for a different day. Yeah. Free idea for you guys.
Will Smith's a good pick.
Yeah. It's a solid start. So let's go Dino next. Dino, who do you have for your first idea in mind of who could protect us from the octopi? It's not octopi. I looked this up. It's octopuses.
Jada Pinkett Smith.
She's so toxic.
No. Who do I have? I think my first pick is going to be that documentary filmmaker from the famous movie My Octopus Teacher. Is that what it's called? Have you guys seen that or even heard about that?
No, you have to enlighten me.
Oh, guys, you're letting the team down.
You're committed now to the bit. You gotta. I'm writing it down. My Octopus Teacher, film director.
It's a documentary about this guy who forms like this very intimate bond with an octopus, and in my personal opinion, it's a sexual relationship. He's fucking this octopus. So I think that could be useful for us.
You think that qualifies as effective credentials because he understands octopus, you know, biology and he knows how to work them and how to kind of deceive them and stuff? Or what?
Exactly. I think seduction is a powerful tool.
All right, I like it. I like it. Dave, what do you think of that pick?
Yeah, I mean, you're right though. If they do end up getting the upper hand on us, it's probably good to have that fallback plan of just trying to fuck him.
Yeah.
And he'd know exactly how we could, you know, initiate that relationship. So
are you talking about like if you can't beat them, breed them, and then we just like we just make a new race of like octopus human hybrids?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
That's what he's saying.
Are we sure? Okay, it's a good fallback plan, but he's always going to be scheming along those lines while everyone else is trying to solve the issue.
Yeah. We're all trying to kill him. He's just trying to fuck him.
All right, thank you, Dino. Dave, who do you have in mind for your first pick?
Yeah, no, this was one that just came to mind initially. So obviously they've got a lot of tentacles. So surely the Indian god Krishna, who has multiple arms, would probably be a good attack.
He could pin him down. He could pin him down like quite effectively, right? Because he's
I mean, because we'd struggle with our 2-arm species that we are. So yeah, I think he or she or it would be a good starting point if we were to go on the attack.
It's a sick idea. Yeah, I love that idea. Absolutely love that idea. Dino, what do you think of that pick?
I love it. I think we can combine our picks, you know? Krishna could hold down the octopus, and then my octopus teacher could...
That'll teach you a lesson. Inhabiting this place millions of years before we got here. Okay, it's getting a little creepy, but we're going to continue on.
The general theme is that the three of us want to fuck octopuses, I think.
So let me write down Dave's first pick, which was...
Good pick, Dave.
Krishna, the god. I don't know, the Indian god Krishna.
I kept it vague because I'm not sure which religion.
No, it is in India. I don't know what I refer to it as, an Indian god or like a Vedic or something. I don't know, you know what I mean? It's just the right verbiage is beyond me. But we all know who you're on about, and it is obviously one of the pantheon of gods that we're familiar with coming from the Indian subcontinent, if that makes any sense. Anyway, my second pick after Will Smith will be the Hydra. Okay, it's very, very much taking from Dave's idea right now. So this is it's comfortable in water, it can fight on land as well, and it has many, many, many heads with lots of vicious teeth for ripping apart potential octopuses. Also, if you cut one head off, two more shall take its place. And so, really tough fuckers to beat. Do you know what I mean? Like, as an octopus, you're not going to necessarily have the head of a gorgon to shine in its eyes and turn it to stone or whatever the other ways that the Hydra has ever been beaten are. That's not how they think, you know what I mean? That's not how they're moving. Well, I'm making assumptions here, but like I think that it's a good punt. Do you know what I mean? So after Will Smith, I've got Hydra.
And Hydra is Greek mythology?
Hydra is Greek mythology, yeah.
Okay.
I like that.
What do you guys think of the Hydra?
I like that.
For this job specifically, not like as a guy.
Okay. I've always been a big fan of the Hydra. No, it's a great pick. I think you guys are taking a really good route here. You're thinking about all of those limbs and how we can control them, and I think that's necessary. We're gonna need that on any team.
And you're just thinking about fucking them. Go on, Dina, give me a second pick.
Your pick was actually kind of in line with my next pick that I was thinking of, because I'm pretty sure my pick fights something along the line of a Hydra at some stage in his tenure, and it is Godzilla.
Yeah, it's a classic choice. Absolutely,
it's a no-brainer. Godzilla is a no-brainer. Godzilla is the monster destroyer, right?
Yeah,
we call on Godzilla whenever there's any imminent creature threat in planet Earth, and I think there's no better man for the job.
There's a special Godzilla line that goes direct to the White House. You just pick up the red phone.
We got some octopuses here.
Very great octopuses, loads of them at atoms.
We have the biggest guy. Godzilla's a great guy.
Dave, do you want to weigh in on Godzilla, or what? I mean, it kind of speaks for itself. Doesn't
I'd just be kind of worried about it, like his motives. Would he be easily swayed by the other side?
Ooh, yeah. I like that.
How aligned with humans is Godzilla?
I mean, we have him in chains, and that's why he's working for us, right? Or does he love us? What do you think?
No, he loves us.
I think
in later iterations in the Godzilla universe, he doesn't necessarily love us, but he understands that he needs to protect us.
Okay. So, but I mean, I think it's a really fair point. Like, he, being non-humanoids, he could easily side with these octopuses. Maybe they offer him a better deal. Or maybe, like, even outside of that, maybe we aren't really aware of just how advanced they are and how much they've been hiding from us. Do you know what I mean? How good their technology is, how adaptable they are. So in some ways, we're kind of pitching for that eventuality as well, not knowing. Do you know what I mean? And having to kind of think on our feet and educate ourselves.
Like, do we necessarily know how they communicate with each other?
As in real life?
Yeah, in real life. This is real life. What are you talking about?
No, I don't know. It didn't come up in my research. But I know that they're supposed to be very intelligent.
Yeah, for sure.
So we'll assume they have some way of communicating with each other. So Godzilla, great second pick, Dino. Turned out to be more controversial than I had imagined, but I think it's a very strong pick nonetheless.
I thought it was a no-brainer. I think like Godzilla is that guy.
He's that guy. Like, more so than Will Smith.
Less so than my octopus teacher.
Yeah. And Will Smith actually dies by jellyfish in 7 pounds, but it's a totally different race.
That's on purpose, right? He kills himself by jelly. That's a weird way to kill yourself, man.
Yeah. All right, so that's me and Dino both have our second picks out. Dave, who do you have after Krishna?
So kind of keeping on a similar theme, I'm concerned with the close quarters combat element of this war. And I'm looking at who would we like in a close quarters combat situation with an octopus. And I'm thinking kind of any Dagestani MMA fighter, probably Khabib Nurmagomedov is probably the best guy to put wrestling an octopus in that kind of situation. So yeah, I'm gonna put him in there for when shit gets real and up close.
What was the name? Who was it?
Khabib Nurmagomedov. You know Khabib.
Khabib. I'm just gonna put Khabib.
Yeah, that's fine.
Perfect. Okay, so you're gonna wrestle him. That's your thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
You're gonna wrestle. Okay.
Yeah, that's gonna work.
no, guys, you got to think of all the eventualities. War isn't just fucking, explosions and shit like that. There's lots of small, minor shit going on. Like you got to have someone ready for that. And I don't know, Khabib's the man. Khabib's that guy.
Khabib is the man. So you Krishna and Khabib. Lots of wrestling, lots of Ks. Maybe Kim Kardashian is next, who knows. I'm going to take my third pick now, and I'm going to go a little different in terms of how we've been playing. I'm going to pick Stephen Hawking.
Oh, Danders, you are like same wavelength. I was thinking next we need brains. We need someone to strategize this whole defense plan.
Exactly. We need a sharp mind, and like a military general would probably also be a good idea. Except he might be a bit more focused on war than peace. But yeah, I definitely think Hawking is a worthy contender. Apart from anything else, there's something, as a big Hawking fan, there's something a little octopusy about him. So maybe he can think like them, or he can,
He doesn't just have two working legs. He has none.
Yeah, I feel like he has otherworldly notions in terms of his thought processes and understanding.
Plus, he specializes in black holes, right?
Specializes in black holes, yeah. As our director knows very well. Super. So what do you guys make of Stephen Hawking?
Great pick. Like I said, I think we need some brains in this operation. And I think, again, no better man for the job than Stephen Hawking. I was thinking more along the lines of maybe a military general from the past. But you know what?
Yeah.
We've never dealt with an alien invasion before. So maybe a military general wouldn't be the best person to choose for that kind of mission.
Do you think that his not being able-bodied would be a hindrance of any kind?
I was going to say he's probably easily neutralized if he was to get into any kind of combat situation or any danger at all. Like, he can't really do fuck all, combat or no.
We'd kind of need to protect him the way they did, like, Professor X when he has his helmet thing on. I can't remember what it's called now. We just need to, like...
You just give him a helmet.
Yeah.
Off you go, bud. Push him into battle.
Bless Stephen. Bless him.
Have at it. We could put him in like have you seen Pacific Rim?
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah.
We could put him in like a big robot fighting machine thing.
It could be octopus shaped.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There we go.
It could be octopus shaped. So yeah, Stephen Hawking, pretty strong pick, but there are some obvious potential drawbacks there. We could put him in just a Zorb ball, Just push him in. Yeah. Keep thinking, Steve. Let's go, Dino. Who's your number 3 after Godzilla, sir?
Okay, my number 3 is famed competition eater Joey Chestnut.
Joey.
Were we aware of Joey Chestnut?
Nah, you're gonna have to.
Oh my God!
Pick more obvious bits.
Joey Chestnut is the most famous competition eater almost of all time. I don't know for certain because we didn't get to research for this podcast, but I'm almost certain that he holds the world record for calamari eating, and we need Joey Chestnut on our team. He could take down octopuses like no one else.
Do you think like tackling them raw and alive is something that he's capable of, or just like deep, like tempura fried?
You obviously don't know Joey Chestnut.
No, clearly. I mean, just admitted to that.
I think he could take them down raw. I think we could even fry them. We could come up with some some massive fryer that they kind of just like land in, and then...
I kind of like the idea of frying them. I feel like that's sort of degrading to them to kind of hibachi them up and just fucking eat them in front of all of their other onlookers, the army of aliens, as it were.
It sends a message.
It does send a message. Yeah. Don't fuck with Joey.
Or Kobayashi. We could have picked Kobayashi as well. Do you know Kobayashi?
Nope.
I can't believe you guys don't stay up to date with competitive eating competition.
He did roll his eyes quite dramatically, listeners, when I revealed I haven't heard of Shashashusha. Dave, who's your number 3? Bear in mind it has to start with a K.
This does not start with a K. Kind of along the same lines of what you were talking about, Danners. We need some brains in a situation. But to my point about Stephen Hawking, we need somebody who's going to be okay if they come face to face with an octopus. So I'm thinking Iron Man is probably a good pick. A number 3 pick. He kind of covers all bases. He can help lay out plans. He's pretty fucking smart. He can build new technology and stuff on the fly. Yeah, I think Iron Man is a super strong pick, and you'd be completely amiss to leave him out of your starting lineup for sure.
Man, that's a great shout, Dave. Obviously, he's a bona fide genius. He has untold resources in terms of billions of dollars and infrastructure to support any kind of operation, military or otherwise. And, you know, he's indestructible in a fucking not iron suit, like I can't remember. He says it in one of the films, but anyway, I think that's a phenomenal pick. He could easily, he's very battle ready, but he could also be one of those thinkers along the lines of Stephen Hawking to actually get the job done. So it's a really interesting pick. I like it a lot. Dino, what are your thoughts on Iron Man?
I think Iron Man is, again, an obvious pick. The Avengers have once stopped an alien invasion on planet Earth. They could do it again. And I think Iron Man is the type of pick that isn't just a sole pick. Dave has inadvertently also gathered the Avengers team with one pick. They're not going to let Iron Man fight alone, right?
Well, maybe. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's also rules here. Like five is the number I have. So
yeah, let's not assume that you're getting the Avengers. Let's just say, Iron Man is the only given. Do you know what I mean? So you have to take it on his merit. Like, you know what I mean? But still, I think there's plenty of merit. Like, I mean, this guy's got fucking laser beams. Like, he's going to be fine. So it's a really good shout. I love that he's got a really sharp mind as well. Kind of flummoxed me with that one day. That was a great shout. And now I'm like, I've got to pick something similar, like Batman or something. But
he's going to do some fucking push-ups or something.
He's just like a fucking utility belt against an army of octopus invaders. I don't think so.
So I was going to, but I'm going to go a different route. I'm going to go with Greta Thunberg. She's a lobbyist. She could raise a lot of support for our cause. And I think really just sort of shame them, with, how dare you? Do you know what I mean? I think that their hearts would be melted, to be honest with you. Do you know what I mean? I think that they'd probably start recycling. And even if not, I think that, like I say, she's great at lobbying and campaigning for the cause, bringing people together over something incredibly challenging. So I think she's a pretty solid pick to have in there with, a bit of brawn with the Hydra, a very sharp mind with Stephen Hawking, and obviously Will Smith. So Greta is my second pick. What do you guys think of Greta?
Danders, I'm a bit worried about Greta, I have to say.
Okay.
She is a child at the end of the day.
Hear me out. Greta is more concerned with the maintenance of our planet and our resources than the human population, which is causing all this distress to our environment.
And we don't know that octopuses are causing any harm
they're
to
just trying to get us the fuck out of here. And like with a lot of super villains, a lot of times their motivations lie in technically a good place. The only way to save our species going forward is to destroy half the planet. We're talking, what's his name in the Avengers? What's the guy who clicks his fingers?
Thanos, yeah.
Thanos. So I think that Greta could be swayed by the octopuses, and be like, yes, okay, maybe this is actually what I've been waiting for, what we need to turn back the clock on the damage we've done to our planet.
Very like, what was that thing that you put me onto recently? 3 Body Problem as well.
Damn it, Dad, you keep on stepping on all my picks. Which comes to my next pick, which is, I don't know how to pronounce the author's name. I think it's Lu Chi-chin, maybe?
This is as good a guess as any.
I don't know. I apologize if I have offended anyone with that, but we'll come back to that, Danders. I think your pick, very good.
But yeah, no, I understand your concerns. They're valid, and yeah, she could easily side against humanity. I guess we would need to kind of test her loyalties at the start. So it's an important factor to consider in the final draft. So your fourth pick, Dino, is the author of The Three-Body Problem. I'm not even going to...
Yeah, and this is another brain pick, right? I assume that this author is intelligent, very intelligent, but has obviously put a lot of thought in how we strategize against an alien invasion, and I think we need someone like that in our team.
I think that's one of the best picks yet. That's exactly the kind of people we need to be thinking about. We need to be someone who's deep in the weeds here, you know, someone who's actually put a lot of thought into this.
Let me just expand a little bit. It's not just your run-of-the-mill Independence Day alien invasion. Oh, they're coming down. They're just going to fuck us up. Like, Three-Body Problem, he gets into the weeds with, like, strategy and, like, every possible scenario of this intelligent life form trying to...
And, like, really, I mean... Like you say, really put so much thought into if it was a reality rather than just like a blockbuster, like you're saying. No need to power off Will Smith, though. He's well capable.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to put down your pick there. It was the first one that came to mind.
No, but you're absolutely right. I loved The Three-Body Problem for that reason. I loved how much thought he put into basically thinking outside of the box, but also like along the lines of scientific, when you can say it's plausible. You know what I'm on about. Scientifically plausible, I guess. I don't know that it was plausible, but he certainly worked hard to make it seem plausible by putting a huge amount of thought into it, you know. So I absolutely love that pick. David, what do you think of that, the author of The Three-Body Problem? Have you seen or...
I was just going to say, I haven't read, seen, like I'm going to be ashamed to say, yeah, you're going to have to just explain to me briefly what The Three-Body Problem is. Is it about alien invasion and how we deal with it as a species?
Yeah, pretty spot on.
Yeah, okay, cool.
It's a Netflix show based on a book by this Chinese author, and the title I remember isn't Three-Body Problem of the original book, but that is the name of a concept that explains basically something that's going on with their home planet. I mean, maybe I've already given some spoilers, but I think you find out anything I've said pretty early. Yeah, but that's pretty much exactly it. It's a fiction. It's a novel where I won't go too far into it, but basically events transpire. It turns out that an alien invasion is coming, and they sort of need to prepare, and the aliens already have some kind of presence on Earth in terms of how they can communicate and stuff like that. So it's pretty thrilling, and like Dino said earlier, it's very interesting how much thought he's put into the matter. So that is a phenomenal fourth pick, Dino. And just before we take Dave's, we're going to jump to a quick commercial break to hear from our sponsor, who is... Still no one. But okay, welcome back to the Dream Team. We just heard from Dino's fourth pick, which was the author of The Three-Body Problem, a great pick. And now it's time for Dave's fourth pick. Dave, what do you have for number 4?
Yes, sir. For number 4, I'm covering a base that none of you have covered already, and I think it's a serious oversight. So, like, we don't necessarily know how they communicate or how we're going to communicate with them. Also, we're assuming that, like, it's us against everybody in the ocean, that they're going to be on their side. There's probably some unrest under there already, and we need to be able to figure out what's going on. And I think the only guy that we can use to kind of figure out that political stance that's going on, or political structure that's going on down there is Aquaman. And also, I think, I don't know if you guys have played 2K or played FIFA and stuff. When you have two players that work well together, it increases the stats of the team because they have chemistry. So if I have Iron Man and Aquaman working together, they're already singing off the same hymn book. They know what they're doing from like a superhero standpoint. So I think Aquaman could be a real big benefit to the team.
Yeah, they are from different universes.
I was about to say, do you think that Marvel and DC will be on board to have them in the same cinematic universe?
Marvel and DC like get in the way of the octopus apocalypse. We're not doing it.
But they're both superheroes. They both know what they're up to. So yeah, I think it'd be really important to have somebody that communicate underwater, be underwater, live underwater. So that's why Aquaman is my 4th draft pick.
It's a fantastic shout. Like, apart from anything else, you're keeping the brawn in the mix. You know, he's very capable. He's very acrobatic, athletic. You know, and I don't know, has he got much of a brain? Jason Momoa. Nah, he seems just like a sweet man.
He's hunky.
Yeah, he's hunky boy. No, fantastic pick. And like as you were talking about the rationale before you said his name, I was like, oh, maybe my next one will be Aquaman. So obviously it was a really good idea. Dino, do you want to weigh in on Aquaman, or what are you thinking?
No, like you said, Danders, a good pick. I would have worries about Marvel and DC.
Yeah.
getting in the way of saving civilization. I think someone from the Marvel is Disney, someone from the Disney universe that you could, I mean, fucking Little Mermaid, Captain Barbossa.
Yeah. I mean, but the thing, he's mostly octopus, right? So, like, as in, you know, he'd be a risk factor as well. I think that he'd jump ship there. He also is not very fond of human life or whatever. Like,
yeah, I could have picked Captain Barbossa, but I don't know if I want to have Captain Barbossa and my octopus teacher on the same team.
I was wrong though. I was talking about Davy Jones, obviously. I was talking about mostly octopus and shit like that. You know what I mean? But you know, you're right. Barbossa's a better pick.
I think I got confused as well.
You were on Davy Jones?
Well, now I'm on Davy Jones.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll get to your fourth pick in a sec. I'm going to take your fifth pick, but I'm going to take mine first. I literally haven't even had a chance to think of this one because Dave's Aquaman was so good at flummoxed me. So this one's totally off the cuff. It's just the only thing that's in my head. And maybe you guys won't get it, but I think it's a good pick and I stand by. Mario. We know he can swim, right? He's very, very adaptable. I feel like someone needs to be covering the cartoon world off. Do you know what I mean? The whole kind of animation world. It's a different area where we don't know how these fuckers are working. And I also think if he gets in his cart and he just starts letting those fucking grenades fly, like, they're goose. They're not going to catch up with him. Do you know what I mean? Anything that he has in his bag of tricks, his arsenal, that like he can spit out at them, whether it's ink or, you know, maybe, I don't know, does that like superpower them or something like that. But I think he's got a lot of firepower. He's very, very adaptable. He's got a lot of mates as well. So yeah, my fifth pick is Mario. What do you guys think of Mario?
I love it, Danders. You said he can throw things off his cart. You think about he's throwing banana peels. That's 6 more legs than us that they have to slip on that shit.
It's 600 times as likely that...
Yeah, exactly.
He's also pretty powerful underwater for a human. You know, he can do a lot underwater. Sure, he's fought fish and shit like that. Just trying to think back to the Mario games. So yeah, he's definitely a good pick, Danners.
Okay. All right. So we won't elaborate on that. I think Mario speaks for himself, so we won't spend too long dilly-dallying. Dino, do you have anyone in mind yet for your number 5?
Yes, in line with Mario, I'm picking Luigi Mangione.
Luigi Mangione.
I am going to pick... This could be a bit of a... I don't know if I can get this, but... Listening to these picks, I'm like astounded at how well we're doing. I think like we are the answer, so I'm picking the WSSAP crew.
I love it. We're already on the job.
We're already on the job. They're not paying us for this shit. My God, are we doing a phenomenal job? And I think the three of us have this on lock, honestly.
I think that's a fantastic answer. You're right. We're doing the body of the work already. Like, you know, we put a lot of thought into it. Like your Chinese author, we're giving them a leg up, and they haven't even asked for it yet. You know, I think that's a fantastic idea. You know, Dave, what do you think? Would you be up for it?
Yeah, it's a super pick. For the listeners, the Danders' Zoom background is him on a boat, so he's already out surveying the area.
Yeah, I had a feeling this one might come up.
Already doing his research, so we're already on the fucking job. So yeah, it's a great pick.
And Dave's virtual background is he looks like he's in a teenage bedroom that like wanks over alien shit.
Tentacle porn.
Also looks like you're doing research.
I'm doing research, Mom.
And it's going well.
And you have a poster of my octopus teacher on the wall.
Okay, the WSSAP Boys is Dino's 5th pick for neutralizing the octopus apocalypse. Dave, who is your number 5?
Right, so I was thinking we've got all the firepower. We've got Aquaman there to fight him on land. We've got Aquaman to fight him underground. We've got Khabib fucking choking bitches out. So there's going to be a lot of dead bodies. There's going to be a lot of dead octopuses. So I'm thinking we're going to kill all them octopuses, we're going to throw them back in the ocean, but they're just going to be sitting there, just going to pile up. So, for that reason, I think I'm going to employ a school of piranha to just eat all the fucking dead bodies so that we can kill and clean them up in the same efforts. Yeah, so a school of piranha is my 5th draft pick.
I think it's more obvious than ever that you've never heard of Joey Chestnut.
I think piranha is a great idea, Dave. And I like that you're considering the whole kind of supply chain, start to finish. You know, we talked about Greta Thunberg. You're really leaning into the sustainability of this initiative. Do you know what I mean? And you don't want the next major geopolitical problem to be all the oceans full of dead octopuses.
That's what I'm saying, man. Because we're gonna win. It's gonna become, if we do win, God help us. If we do win, there's going to be some octopuses left over, right? And they're going to have to still exist. And if we leave all the dead bodies there, that's a constant reminder to them about the lost war, all their fallen brothers and sisters, and they're going to get angry, and they're going to rise up again. So if we clear out them bodies, there's nothing to remember. History will just be wiped.
Let me ask you, Dave, do you feel like you're sacrificing a pick to put more into brain power or brawn power, even though you have that pretty well covered? Do you think considering a cleanup crew is potentially wasting a valid slot?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, what's the objective of war? Is to come to some sort of solution and to not let it happen again. If we just kill all those octopuses and let them sit there, that increases the chances of them rising up again, or some other group rising up again, seeing the damage we did to the octopus nation. So yeah, no, we got to think about longevity here as well.
Well, I would have thought that the School of Piranha could contribute to the battle pretty handily as well, potentially. Do you know? I mean, I don't know. Are they sort of shy of getting into fights? Maybe they're more like cleaners. I'm not as familiar with Piranha as I'd like to be.
Well, I mean, if it comes to it, I guess if push comes to shove, they can get their hands dirty.
Do they have hands?
I don't know. If it's a school, they can make a shape with some sort of hands.
Oh, nice.
Maybe.
Oh, and we could train them to, like, Stephen Hawking could control them. Piranhas.
That's your best Stephen Hawking. I love it.
It was better than my Bill Burr before we started.
Okay, all right, guys. We have everyone's starting 5. Thank you so much for that. Dino, did you want to weigh in more on Piranha, or did you have your say? You happy?
Yeah, I'm happy. I like it.
Yeah.
It could be a bit of a wasted pick, but I think they can join the fight.
Yeah, I think that they could start nipping at those octopuses while they're still alive, you know, while they're focused on other shit. So I think it's a decent pick, you know. Even though we have established that the octopuses can come on land, or at least that they can survive above air, we said. We didn't necessarily say they can come on land. I guess that's up to you. But anyway, we have our 3 squads here, so now it's time for our next segment, What Would Michael Do?, where we put our surreal dream task in the battle-tested hands of the legendary original dream team, Dino, the 1992 United States men's Olympic basketball team. The dream team was the first American Olympic team to feature active professional players from the NBA, and has often been described as the greatest sports team ever assembled, featuring a loaded cast of Hall of Fame names, including the likes of Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Charles Barkley. How would the greatest athletic collective of all time fare at neutralizing an octopus apocalypse? First off, what are the traits of the dream team? Strength, speed, agility, average height of 6'8", dedication, adaptability, cognitive load, high IQ, balance, coordination, reflexes, stamina, pattern recognition, spatial awareness. Do you think that any of these traits could be effective as a team in neutralizing an alien uprising? Dave, what would you think of the dream team's chances?
Yeah, I think they have a good chance against the octopuses. I mean, if you're looking at size, they've got it all really. I don't know if the octopuses will be interested in challenging them to a game of basketball. So you just have to go and wonder.
This isn't Space Jam.
This is the new Monstars.
You just gotta wonder how combat ready these 6'8" basketballers are, which doesn't. I don't have a lot of confidence in it.
Okay.
I mean, they're still athletes, so
Yeah. I mean, top end elite athletes, right? But like we said, let me just go back over their traits, because obviously we aren't assuming that they're going to throw basketballs at the octopuses. They're going to use their other strengths in different ways, right? So high IQ, spatial awareness, pattern recognition. You know, they could just as easily be army vets as they could be elite sportsmen. You know, they got all the athleticism there, but then they have the IQ, they know how to put it together, they're committed, they're dedicated, you know, they die for the cause, and they'll work harder than anyone else, you know. So in perspective, you feel like maybe they'd be able to work a few things out, you know what I mean? They'd work extremely well as a team, you know, non-selfish. So that's just some of the thoughts that I had on it. Dino, what do you reckon about the Dream Team's chances?
I think the most important factor there, Danders, like you said, is the dedication. They're committed. I think Michael Jordan alone, all we need to do is to get Michael Jordan to take something personal that the octopuses did, and then it's game over.
It became personal with me. Super. Okay, so we know that they have a decent chance at neutralizing the octopus apocalypse, but the most important question is, do they have a better chance than any of our 3 current draft squads? So we're going to put all four of these teams into a melee, and between the three of us, we're going to see if one team kind of stands head and shoulders above the others, and I'll take the executive final call. So just to remind everyone, my draft team was Will Smith, the Hydra, Stephen Hawking, Greta Thunberg, and Mario. Will Smith, the Hydra, Stephen Hawking, Greta Thunberg, and Mario. Dino, you had my octopus teacher, film director, Godzilla, Joey Chestnut, the author of The Three-Body Problem, and the WSSAP Boys.
Dream team. So you had the film director from Octopus Teacher, Godzilla himself, Joey Chestnut, competitive eater, author of The Three-Body Problem, and the WSSAP Boys. Dave had Krishna, Khabib, Iron Man, Aquaman, and a School of Piranha. Krishna, Khabib, Iron Man, Aquaman, and a School of Piranha. And then, of course, we have the Dream Team, the most elite athletic collective in history. So, what do you guys think? Who has the best squad? Who is capable? And who are we sending in to neutralize this threat? Dave, who's your top pick out of the 4 of them? Are you still backing your own team?
I think I have to be honest, man. Like, I don't fancy my chances if the basketball Dream Team are put in there, to be honest. None of them have combat skills or experience. I think you're losing out with Greta Thunberg, Danders. I think she's still a child, so probably not the best.
I don't know if she is anymore, to be honest.
I think she's legal.
Oh, Jesus. It's not what I was saying. She's 22.
Super.
Okay.
It's a lovely age.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe a little more combat ready than I thought.
Combat ready.
That's the code we're using. So then, yeah, no, I'm gonna have to back my own team, to be honest, man. I mean, I got all the firepower, there's some brain power in there, and I got a cleanup crew. It's just a whole package, man. And it's hard to look past it. There's some world class talent in there. And yeah, I gotta back my own team here.
Yeah, you're rolling deep, I have to admit, Dave. You have come with a squad. It's a good shout. Dino, who's your final pick? Are you backing your own team, or are you putting it somewhere else?
I'd love to back my own team, Danders, but I want to break out of this stereotype I'm creating for myself of always picking my own ideas.
Is that the only reason you're picking a different one?
No, wink. I'm picking Dave's team as well. I think he's thought about the supply chain, the production line from start to finish. We're talking about from the planning stage to the cleanup. He's got it all.
Okay. So Dino also picked Dave's team, which reminder was Krishna, Khabib, Iron Man, Aquaman, and School of Piranha. And one more time, I'll run through all 3 teams before I give my final pick. So I had Will Smith, the Hydra, Stephen Hawking, Greta Thunberg, and Mario. You have a mix of some Hollywood panache in there. You've obviously got a legendary mythical beast with the Hydra. You've got a lot of brains with Stephen Hawking. You've got lobbying power with Greta Thunberg. And then you cover the animated world with Mario and obviously his resourcefulness. Dino had the film director from My Octopus Teacher, who we've established is more interested in fucking them than he is in neutralizing any threat. Godzilla, which is a great shout, but Dave called out that there might be some conflicts of interest there. Joey Chestnut, competitive eater. He eats a lot of calamari, fair play. The author of The Three-Body Problem was a fantastic pick, and the WSSAP Boys was also also a fantastic pick. And then Dave, you have Krishna, a many-armed god. I mean, it's a god. What more can you say? Khabib, also a many-armed god. You have Iron Man. I mean, again, speaks for itself. You've got heaps and heaps of money, resources, laser beams, impenetrable forces. Fantastic pick. Aquaman, obviously, he speaks to the deep, and he's also very, very handy with a trident and a school of piranha for cleanup and potential pitching in. And then, obviously, we have the 1992 Olympic men's US basketball team. And the winner of the neutralizers of the Octopus Apocalypse Award is Dave's team. Congratulations, Krishna, Khabib, Iron Man, Aquaman, School of Piranha. Come up and claim your prize.
Let's
Congratulations, Dave. What a team.
So there you have it. The Dream Team may be the greatest sporting collective ever assembled, but this time, raw athletic propensity was not enough to save the world. Let's start celebrating our scientists and engineers instead. And if you find yourself in the midst of an octopus apocalypse, you should give Krishna a call. Don't call Michael Jordan. He doesn't want to hear from you. Delete his number. Sound off in the comments and let us know what you have chosen for who you have chosen for the job, sorry. Did you agree with our choices, or have we missed some crucial Dream Team members here? If you have a dream challenge and you want to know the best team in the world for the job, be sure to send it in via DM to our Instagram page. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, keep dreaming, keep teaming, keep scheming, and we'll see you again next time. Take care.
Welcome back to We Should Start a Podcast. We just heard Dander's latest podcast idea, the Dream Team podcast, and what a ride we had on that one. Wow. What I want to know, Danders, didn't have time to talk about it at the end there, but which team did we think, or do we think, would have the best shot at the gold medal in the 2028 Olympics in basketball? Because it might not be the 1992 men's basketball team.
It might not be. So I had Will Smith, I had the Hydra. I mean, decent odds there. Stephen Hawking could do the court mapping and he, be a great point guard that way. Greta, get the crowd going, and Mario's got all kinds of bags of tricks.
Like hops for days.
Yeah. And he's also done all that Nintendo Wii stuff, tennis and that. So he's capable athletically. You had creepy film director, Godzilla, competitive eater, Chinese author, and us.
My team's cooked.
I don't think your team is getting it. Dave had a god, a wrestler, 2 superheroes, and a bunch of fish. So
I think your team might actually...
You think my team might win the Olympics?
I think so,
your team versus...
Yeah.
No, I think...
Or the Dream Team.
I'm going to give it to the Dream Team.
The Dream Team still?
Yeah.
In their late 60s, probably. Man, they're absolute beasts. Like, it's a good shout. But I think that I give them a good run for the money in the qualifying stages.
And so would the 3 of us on my team. Us and fucking Joey Chestnut throwing alley-oops.
So what did you guys think of the podcast?
I will say this is of no disrespect. It was a great podcast and really fun to do. We've definitely found the stupidest podcast so far. I was listening to you like rattling off the instructions and stuff. I was like, what the fuck is he on about? But no, it was fun. It was interesting.
You were thinking like, if only we were still playing 2 Ruths and a slide.
I thought of so many more Ruths. Yeah, so Dino, why don't you explain the rating system and then we'll jump into actually critiquing it.
Of course. As always, we will critique the Dream Team podcast using the classic podcast rating system that we know and love based on 3 criteria. And those criteria are, number 1, the concept or the general idea of the show. Number 2, longevity, which means do we think this show has legs to grow? And number 3, and most importantly, we have pod sauce. Pod sauce is the je ne sais quoi flair or spice to the podcast that makes it a winner. Pod sauce could be literally anything you enjoyed from the pod or something you think gave the pod some extra flavor. This week's pod sauce segment is sponsored by Dream Cream. Dream Cream, the world's premier all-purpose any-task cream, just as effective at treating hemorrhoids as it is delicious on apple pie.
I should specify it's probably for more extreme tasks, like the kind of world-solving stuff. I mean, it's pretty expensive per bottle. Like it is tasty and it is edible, but probably for more sort of out there tasks, I would think. But it is capable. It's all purpose, you know.
And do you remember the first time when you were like a teenager, when you woke up and you found Dream Cream in your briefs?
Yeah, I was delighted. I love this stuff.
Dream Cream. After discussing the above three criteria, concept, longevity, and pod sauce, we will each give our final rating of this week's pod sauce podcast, I should say. Will the Dream Team be a smash hit, or should we trash it? Danders, I'm going to let you take us through this rating system.
Thank you, Dino. So we're going to start with concept, guys. And like Dino just said, that's just checking what my co-hosts, what they thought of the concept of the podcast in and of itself. So Dave, we already know you hated it, so we can skip you.
I didn't hate it. I really enjoyed it.
No, Dave, what did you think of the concept?
No, I really enjoyed it. It's really cool concept. It's fun to do. It's nice to dive into that imaginary hypotheticals like that. So yeah, really like the concept. Gets a big thumbs up from me.
Dino, what did you make of the concept?
I like the concept too. It's a bit derivative. Other podcasts, which we won't mention again. But at the end of the day, it's not so much about the idea. Actually, do you know what? Never mind. This whole podcast is about the idea of a new podcast.
That is literally the point.
Yeah, it's about the journey, and boy, did we have fun on that journey. I enjoyed it, Danders.
Yeah, it's a very fair critique, Dino. It is something I was concerned about. I actually flagged it to you guys in the preamble that we had before we jumped on the record, that I was a little bit nervous of its originality. And now that you guys know what it is, you can connect those dots. But like I said, first of all, I distinguished it in terms of USP from other drafting shows. Firstly, because it always links back to the US basketball team. It's always going to be a challenge as to whether the Dream Team would be better fitted to the role. And the second thing is that in terms of the Dream Team verbiage, I thought like they're always real surreal tasks. Do you know what I mean? Like they're off the wall, stuff that kind of appears in your dreams. And similarly, the way you can cast fictitious roles, you know, and that they don't have to be human, that kind of leans into the dream thing as well. So that was how I thought I'd distinguish it. But I do agree, it's a little on the nose. It's something we've heard before in a lot of ways. But I also thought it was fun to draft on the spot instead of having some time to prepare. It gave it a bit of a different feel to some of the other ones, and I had a lot of fun anyway. So Dave, what did you think of the longevity? Do you think this one has legs to grow?
About 8 of them, yeah.
No,
it's, yeah, I know
I
there's.
don't believe it.
No. Sorry. Oops.
Tino has a flashback up the first round of 2 Ruths and a slide.
Sorry.
Cool. So, Dave, you think it has 8 legs to grow? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, no, but yeah, it's like an infinite amount of things you could do with it.
It's not always about octopuses, Dave. You do know that.
I know. No, I know that. That's what I'm saying. There's a plethora of things you could. There's a plethora of things you could go with for that kind of podcast. So yeah, plenty longevity, plenty runway.
I'd hold you up.
Super. Thank you so much, Dino. Dino, what do you think of the longevity?
I think your podcast has about 8 legs to grow.
Hey-oh, this guy. That was hilarious.
Thank you. No, I think there's a lot of room to grow with this one. I think All Fantasy Everything has about 300 or 400 episodes of proof. But I like the direction you've taken it with more of that fantasy aspect of it, right? Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be anything rooted too firmly in reality. And I think that gives even more options of places we can take this. So I think it has great longevity.
Super. And then finally, our pod sauce. Dave, what was your pod sauce for the week?
Dino's Stephen Hawking impression.
What was the word again?
I was trying to do it so quickly while also laughing. It came out so badly.
It was like a pretty average person speaking, I felt.
Yeah. And then now I don't want to like prove myself and go back and do another one because I'm worried that it'll be offensive. So I'm just gonna leave it where it is. It is what it is. It's on record. And I'm in control of the soundboard, so that's never going up there.
Dino, what was your pod sauce for the week?
That is a very good question, Danders. I think my pod sauce of the week was Dave's team that ultimately won. Like, on the spot, Dave, I'm very proud of you, my guy, putting together such a well-rounded team just off the cuff.
And in a way, it actually gives more life and credence to your choices as well, Dino, because Dave, as part of the WSSAP team, was one of your choices, and clearly he's a strategist. The man can think through this kind of stuff, man. So,
wait, so did I just win?
Yes. Yeah, you just won, yeah. Sorry, Dave.
Announce a new winner, Dunders, please. I'll do the air horns. So loud. Holy shit.
Yeah, cool. All right, so finally, guys, we're going to give it a final rating. So it's either a smash hit or we're going to trash it. So, Dave, we'll go with you again. Was it a smash hit or do you want to trash it?
Man, I know I said it was stupid, but I would love to see where this can go and what we can do with it. So for me, it's a straight up smash hit.
It's a smash hit from Davey.
Woo!
Dino.
Well, Danders, like I said, it is a little bit derivative. We've heard it before. We've all heard it before. It's a game as old as time, just like Two Ruths and a Sly, obviously. And for that reason, I am going to say that the meat is actually not stinking on this one. This is an absolute smash hit from me, Dunders. Wow, you really turned the fantasy drafting on its head with what you did here, and I love it.
Yep. Nice. There's no the meat is stinking sound.
No. But we'll give it anyways, just because I love it so much.
The meat is stinking.
Nice. Okay, super. All right, it's a certified smash hit. Thank you guys for playing. Dino, why don't you round us out?
Yes, that was a resounding positive response for the Dream Team, and it is, of course, a certifiable smash hit. But at WSSAP, we like to hedge our bets. So until we can get this dreamy stud of a podcast into production, we will continue plotting, pitching, and, of course, podding until we are certain we have the next pod smash on our hands. Any closing words, boys?
Keep it
I'll
dream
take that as a no. We've used up all of our brain power trying to think of things off the cuff. As three amateur podcasters with no improv experience or practice.
But we have done a lot of preliminary thinking around the octopus apocalypse, so it's energy well spent, I would say.
I would say so too. And for everyone out there, remember that if this ever does come to fruition, you heard it here first on WSSAP. Listen out for the Dream Team coming soon exclusively to the One Cream Fits All Dream Cream podcast app. If you think that we should start the Dream Team podcast, please rate, subscribe, and let us know at WSSAP Official on Instagram and X, formerly known as Twitter. That's WSSAP Official on Instagram and X, although I don't know if we're meant to be using X anymore. I've seen a lot of people turning their back on the platform.
Is it cancelled because of Elon, is it? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
is this isn't to do with his Hitler saluting thing?
It was to do with the Hitler salute.
Is it really?
But anyways, you can still find us there for now. I don't know if we ever post anything anyways, so hey.
Just Hitler stuff.
Yeah, let us know if you think we should start the Dream Team podcast there, and we'll maybe look at it.
I thought you were going to say, let us know if we should
month.
excommunicate Elon Musk from...
Yeah. Anyways, guys, we are inches away from a huge idea, and you can tune in again next week to hear us pitch that next hit show. And I really think that after that one, a lot of our listeners are going to be dream creaming themselves. What do you think?
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, hopefully you're going to wake up in bed at 13 years old and say that was the best podcast I ever heard. So,
and I think I have another sound for the soundboard. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, no, I think people are going to enjoy it. People are going to find it fun. Plus, it's good to be prepared. It's good to be ready for these kind of things, like an octopocalypse and any kind of apocalypse, really. So
I'm
we're
talking
doing
about
it
next
justice.
week, Dave. Jeez.
Oh, next week. Oh, sorry. Next week? Yeah. I guess we'll see.
I guess we'll see. David Hogan 2025. Until next week, everyone, keep your ear to the grindstone and remember the inspiring words of the greatest basketball player to ever be mentioned on WSSAP, Michael Jordan. Talent wins games. but teamwork and intelligence wins podcast. See you next week.